Dale Pinkert here at TradeGATEHub.com, powered sponsored by TradeView Markets, joined by Mike Venezia.
Good morning.
Mike, how are you today, buddy?
Uh, I'm okay.
Okay,
I wouldn't exactly announce a reverse split, but
okay.
we got, you know what they say, we got a chip in a chair and we're doing okay.
So yesterday we had a huge recovery and everything, and I like to look at givebacks after a big, like a day that we had yesterday. And here in the main chat, this line was posted early before
Mhm.
the pop. I think some people took advantage of it. I'm surprised we've given up this much because when it comes to the dollar, dollar's following through
Yeah,
to the downside, euro's
right.
following through the upside, pound has really come out of the hole, and the yen's still struggling against intervention levels. Metal's giving some back, but not what they gained yesterday. Gold kind of looks like a flag here, silver weaker than gold. And you know what? Copper keeps holding. Copper is saying that maybe we shouldn't be as worried about economic weakness for now, because it looks to me like we could recover to about $4. I like the fact that we're putting in higher lows, and why can't we rally back to the breakdown, just like a bear market rally?
I, you know what, Coach? I wouldn't argue, and it's not maybe it's a frustration thing to a degree, and not a lot of things are making sense.
Yeah,
That's been a predominant theme.
yeah,
Apple's breaking yesterday's lowest, for
yeah,
example. I thought that might have been the capitulation. The final news was out. You had stocks, Alcoa. Look at Alcoa today. AA. I follow it. It was up $3 at one point. Gap down to be negative. That'll show you the range of what's going on and the little certainty there is in even metals and mining
yeah,
and you know what? Geopolitical news, the bond market, obviously UUP as we've been watching, and the dollar are driving stocks.
yeah.
That's
You
it.
know, and I was thinking about it that even if rates peaked in some kind of frenzy yesterday and we're on our way down, and a natural place would be like 3.5. That was the old high in yields. But maybe it's constructive for the market for a while, but lower rates could also be part of what you and I have talked about, that we could have a growth scare.
No, I
And
appreciate
and
that. And what are the parameters days of what's a while? Sometimes I can't afford that, a while.
yeah. Well,
This
look,
is
I
a
tried to bottom pick the bonds for that reason last week, and then the day after the Fed is when they crushed them,
well, the
and I
biggest move
got
comes at
stopped
the
out.
end, like we
Yeah,
all know. And could throw the more cliches out there. One day doesn't make a reversal, but for where I
right.
came from and was from very, very highly trained, not as well as just maybe being a little innate. That was a reason yesterday to take a little bit of more chance than you. If you weren't trying to catch the bottom, yesterday was a good example. As I said, there were a lot of reasons we had it here. You know what? I did lightened up into the close, but fun wise, I added. Don't get me wrong. I added to Google. I added to Google yesterday on my position. And now that's AMD is testing new lows again, and Apple's testing new lows. A lot of things gave it back, and you know what? I'm start this time of day. I really go over more of my notes of why. And was there a housing number that just reversed all this? You know what I mean? Was it the housing number, Coach?
Well, they can't blame the dollar today. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm
So
that's what I'm saying. I don't the catalyst for there to be a little bit of a base was all lined up there, and they negated that. And only a
that's
little
the way it
blip
feels.
and
Yeah,
only a little blip of a news that says things are still happening in the inflationary way, just a little housing number for what I understand, took everything back down. So a lot of good news being priced in or even acting as it was yesterday across the board. And that's why we did finish up that way yesterday. So
well,
now, you know what? I think I was reading your tweets about something about your guest this morning. Indicators are at this point out the window because a lot of things aren't even oversold anymore after yesterday. So now we're in the proverbial danger zone where it's never stopped. The VIX is over 30. And let's keep day trading, taking moves out of the market. You know what I mean? So if you came in flat, you killed it again today, no matter what. But you know what? For a trader like myself, that's has 2 or 3 tools going, there's always a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is month end and quarter end. So there are probably a lot of funds that don't want to show losers on their books going into their statement and
Well,
end of the period. Could that be a factor, month end
I said, well,
money
listen,
flow?
maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, and I'm not really, I'm thinking that first of all, the seasonality, which by the way worked. I said I wasn't a big believer on it. Noted it worked right until October, September, October being bad. Let me pull my camera
Oh,
over.
let me turn it over to you, buddy.
Well, I'm no, it's my. Ooh, where am I? Is it? Do I have the floor yet?
Yeah,
Let me go into
you can
trade.
share.
Did I share already?
Not yet.
I don't even know what's going on here. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Share screen. Go to TradeGATEHub. Market's bouncing a touch. I don't want to look because if you micromanage, you want your positions to work, don't watch them. But that's not really true when the VIX is this high. So here we are on TradeGATEHub. What I'm saying is, I'll go to even a chart before. You know what? I'll jump around. This is how I log into TradeGATEHub this morning, as everybody else does. It's and the newer thing. And we go right here, TradeGATEHub, and boom. And here's everybody communicating. Here's the red YouTube button, which is most important on this page because there's always another trade and we're always going to be here until someone drops. So here's the video button and go over through, our coach does a great video on Wednesdays, has great guests, some phenomenal guests. And now I'm doing them every single day, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock every day with you, Coach, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this is our trading DNA. This is our dossier, if you will, and this is what we provide going to history. So that's the most important thing that we can provide you on TradeGATEHub. Because if you're not watching this real time, then it goes back into the video section. Some things are you're a dinosaur at that point, but it gives you an idea of what we're doing. So, you know what I mean, Coach? Getting back to the charts here, and you know what? And I'm not really thinking this way now, but there's a chart on the SPYs. As I said before, the indicators a couple of days ago were oversold. That's
Yeah.
why we played it. Now we're not even close to being where we were here on the RSI. So at one point this morning, things that get there's Apple. I'm not in it yet. Google, same thing. The only stocks that reversed today to some degree was some oils. I get it.
Mike, I
But
did see there was big news in what was it, Regeneron on an Alzheimer's drug
it was
yesterday?
Biogen.
Biogen. Okay. And then they showed the whole biotech index, which looked pretty good.
As a matter of
Uh,
fact, before I came on the air, I bought a nice chunk of Lebu. I believe it was 670. I believe
okay.
I bought it
Because it looked like
670.
we were putting in higher lows here instead of getting all the way back down to the lows of this summer that we were yeah, you have successive higher lows here.
So right when I came
Yeah.
on the air, watch
Okay.
this. Oh, where are we? Settings. Let's
I
do
mean, it's a breakout until it isn't over that 675 level or so, the way it looks to me.
show executions. Right before I came on here, I bought 20,000 or 16,000 labor right here.
Yeah.
At 722. And I said enough is enough. So there's my position there. And I like the bios. And you brought up Biogen, and that brought, Biogen gave a little bit back, don't get me wrong. But I can look from, Coach, I convince you can convince most people if you want for 1,000 reasons, 10, excuse me. 20 reasons to buy the biotech and 20 reasons not to. I like them because seasonality is coming to the point where I like the biotechs. Pardon me. There's a lot of FDA approvals this time of the year and going to the beginning of the year. It's what bottom line is, if you can even look at stocks like Apple, like we say, it doesn't matter if it makes widgets. It's not breaking a newer low, as a lot of stocks are doing. As a matter of fact, it's not even close to breaking a new low. It's
Yeah.
quite honestly hanging there. It is in the gap. It's a safe area. It had a nice rebound a couple of days ago on huge volume. Like I said, I'd like to go back to the 80s and 90s and to settle there and rest and then settle above the 200 and go until the end of the year, but that's yet to be determined. But that's where I do go. I'm certainly not adding to something like, and it's not like I'm not that type of traders that kiss of death. Really, it's just not something that I'm not going to add to Google right now. I'm not. It's something that I'm not going to add to. Meta looked like yesterday with the day that it could do it. What else did I purchase yesterday? Meta. Let's look at Microsoft. I mean, look at the Microsoft chart. If you flip that, if you reversed it, you'd still be buying it for another leg up, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's not even over. It's not even oversold yet. It's only 32. I mean, oversold conditions. Well, Microsoft's rare. If you get an oversold condition or RSI of Microsoft at 12 to 15, we have a lot bigger problems because that's
You
very,
need
very
a
rare.
240 close to arrest the decline.
I can. It's a nice, coming to the end of the month. It's a nice Friday option strike price. I would like the rest of the market to agree. I can't agree more. That's in here. It's one of the prices I have for the Microsoft. So we'll see what happens there. So listen, end of the
I
quarter. This is what I think. The original question was maybe this. Yesterday there were some buyers. Some real buyers. I don't know if it was short covering yet. We'll see. By the price action today, it's going to be a hindsight thing actually, but there's not a lot of retail buyers out there. What's happening is there have been a lack of even fund buyers. So maybe they're holding things down to the end of the quarter and want to get things as cheap as they can going into with seasonally. It looks like even a bounce going into the next end of the year into the beginning of the year. That's what I think.
Okay. Other candidates for this base, if we're putting in the base here and we don't have this breakdown, what else do you think could perform?
It changes. Listen, coach, seriously, it changes it changes
Right.
a couple day by day. It does. Yesterday I thought it was the day to start building in some mega caps. Wrong. I'm not, I have
Right.
plenty of liquidity, but let's look at the GLD chart. That's looking very nice, by the way. I'm not going to lie, but NEM, because it's a stock, gave a little bit of back. I mean, the low on NEM is 40.
It's higher on the day. That's pretty cool. It's higher on the day with gold down $5-6 last time I looked. So yeah, that's a pretty classic thing. I'd like to see it close over that moving average, and yeah. Okay.
PayPal, Lewis asked about. All right, first of all, Lewis asked about if he's going to the payment providers.
Yeah.
Lewis is asking the question about the right one. And
I see that.
PayPal has shown itself for lack of a better term, the chart here to be a best of breed, considering the fact that 1 year ago was 256, now it's 88. Now I'm glad Lewis, and when I say he's glad he said that, he could very well asked about Square, that's breaking year low in the same sector. AFRM, same thing. I had this MQ. What is this? MQ. You still have. There's that MQ. But you know what? Lewis 702. Lewis is right. If I was going to buy any of them, PayPal, it's just like everything else, Lewis. I feel there is 4 points up and 4 points down. It's going to need a catalyst. And I don't think it's going to be the market because all the moving averages of conversion. It's very tight. It's had its chance to move. It doesn't really even have that big of a range, being the proverbial last survivor, best of breed. It's going to need a catalyst. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that catalyst. No, coach. That's what I think. Yeah, that's my answer.
So flat.
Yeah, you're flat. Yeah. You want to buy something in pay. Listen, if you want to buy
Maybe you
it
go
long
with
term,
it on strength.
if you
But
want
then
to
you
buy
feel
it long
late.
term and put it away, and I get it. People are buying leaps. The biggest option flow I've seen all week, and I put it on TradeGATEHub, was a monster player stepped out and bought like huge leaps going on January 2024. But I don't put much credence to that. That could be a guy living in Boca Raton that says, I want to buy 10 million worth of Google, go out of here. That's not that big of a call. So those are the main options plays that I've seen. So I wouldn't talk you certainly out of PayPal if you want to diversify and be in that type of sector. I don't think I'm wrong here. I think a lot of managers would agree with me, but certainly I'd be prepared to buy more. And if it's going to work, you want to buy, the place you wouldn't want to add is anytime soon anyway. So if you want to get involved, but you're certainly going to need a catalyst or a major market catalyst to move it either way. That's all.
Okay. So
what would I buy, Coach? There's a PayPal, it's, I don't know. I mean, do I want to buy AMD here? Look at AMD. I mean, look at AMD.
It's ugly.
You know what I mean? I thought that yesterday could have been the base a little bit, but but how much are you going to get out of it? I didn't add to it that maybe I bought another 5% in the fund because I'm really doing this now. My price on AMD is 60, by the way. You can see there. That's the real bread and butter. That's why I want to get an AMD for a long-term investment, which is
if the dollar is turning, I forgot who's been talking about Brazil, but maybe a combination Petrobras. Any view on that being a Brazilian
It's just,
energy stock? Wow.
it's, you know what, you said wow, because I said wow in my head here. I didn't think it moved that much anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, listen, PBR is, it's not, it's, it's geopolitical and it's oil. You're basically taking
Yeah.
a position on how the world is doing to a degree. I really don't think it's that much Brazil. I mean, if it was only Brazil, then PBR wouldn't have come down that much. It's
Well,
coming
that's
down
what
with
I
the
mean.
rest of the
It's not
oil.
just their currency, but it could be their currency. Plus, do you think that oil may have reached maybe a semi-important low on the washout we had under 80? Or are you still
Well,
looking?
I think that we've broken COVID low. We've broken Ukraine lows on crude, haven't we, Coach?
Yeah.
Okay, so we broke lows. Okay, so what? So if unless something goes nuclear, God forbid, I don't know at this point with this much hedging going on and this much geopolitical uncertainty on a forex side, on a bond side, if you will, on a U.S. equity side, even tremendous uncertainty going to a election.
Yeah.
What's that catalyst to drive it higher there? I think it's range bound. I don't even think I think it's more of a an indice than a tradable commodity at this point.
Okay.
We
All
would
right.
you what's your take on it, Coach?
Well, I look at it, it's at a pretty significant support zone. I think a lot of bulls have been washed out. I think people have that were talking about 150 oil after the invasion are gone, not talking about it anymore. So there are a lot of things out there, right, Mike, that are out of favor, like crypto, like
Well,
metals, like foreign currencies. And, there's an old Wall Street expression, buy straw hats in winter.
well, I'm saying like what I was saying before, you could probably convince me as a person, as when I say leave that, of probably 5 reasons to buy and 5 reasons to sell it, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that,
I'm just pointing out to things that were out of favor for a long time and really got extremely out of favor.
well,
And
you could
and,
say,
and that includes the S&P. I mean,
well,
I
you could say
saw,
that about Lewis's PayPal. I mean, you could say that about anything. No?
well, I don't know, the dollar's been going up for a while, so it's not a new story. But the pessimism that you have in bonds after this decline and optimism in the dollar is pretty extreme. And a year ago, Bitcoin was 60, 70 grand, right, Mike?
Yeah, it was.
And now it's a crypto winter.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why that expression lives, not just because an old sage like me remembers it, but buy straw hats in winter.
No, okay.
That's when you get them cheap.
Getting
So
shovels cheap too, by the way. So that's where we sit.
I
So
really, thank God I can trade. I haven't had to order a shovel lately.
haven't had what?
Haven't had to order a shovel.
Oh, no, it's one,
I
one
don't
of
need
trade
one.
views policies. Instead of, it's a lot easier to be the guy that has the shovels than to
Oh
be the
yeah,
guy that, yeah, so
yeah.
I get
They
it.
they they sold the equipment.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so I'm glad we're ending this month.
yeah,
Okay.
because you know what, I'm not, I'm at a loss. We've done this for a long time. I mean, listen, the bottom line is don't let trades turn into positions and know your style. Don't be stepping out of the box. And if you do, make sure you have a trade view markets demo either way. And that's the definite time to do it. So, just have a plan, trade prudently. There's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of reasons to do there's a lot of reasons to do things, but there's more to do less.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a great day to trade. It doesn't mean
No,
that
yeah, we
five
had it,
days a
but
week it's going to be great to trade. And I certainly wasn't looking for this much give up in S&Ps when I
no, a
went
lot
home
of there's a
yesterday.
yeah, a lot are stuck.
So, when in doubt, out.
If I wouldn't have some stocks that had a little bit of low liquidity because of the lack of buyers that I've said that I would be, but some positions I can't, some positions if I can't sell them, it's
Taking out and closing under yesterday's lows, Mike, I believe we could say that we've officially entered the recognition phase of this
Yeah, well,
bear
here,
market.
the
It's
NASDAQ is about to wrap up its longest quarterly losing streak in 20 years. Yet tech stocks still aren't cheap enough. Listen, that's an article, and it's not
yeah,
obviously it's not the judge and the jury, but I happen to agree. After
yeah.
yesterday, that hurt. After yesterday, after today, the amount of give back today predicated upon the close where the smart money comes in later today, is very surprising and it's making me think I'm completely different. I flip completely, and that's very rare for a pro of our age. 24 hours, within a 12-hour span, 12-hour
You have
trading
to.
span.
You have to shorten your time horizon in this market. That's why yesterday, if you weren't ringing the register on a $40 rally in gold and
I
a
was.
80-cent rally and a 200 pip rally in the euro, called in our main chat room,
I
by the
sold
euro
that.
before it took off.
That was a great chat. Great call. Listen,
So, well, 1 out of 100, not bad, huh?
no,
All you
that's
gotta
not.
do is say buy the euro every day, and one day it'll
No,
work. Anyway, if you're saying this right now, and these are challenging markets because we don't have trends, we have volatile ranges right now.
and all the
But
ranges we post. Here's my
yeah,
plan here. Key support. Let me get something to Gerard G Money. Asked Apple. We had the bad news yesterday, and today we had the downgrade. Oh, we have the PIF
hey,
futures.
look, that's Bish. He's in there.
Yeah, who's PIF?
Bish is the gentleman I interviewed today.
Oh, okay, bravo.
He's a new IB of TradeView. He has a
Oh, welcome.
community.
I know who he is. He's Justin's guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Welcome. We're glad to
yeah,
have you. I'm gonna watch your video right now after at 9:30, right after you're on the YouTube. But
yeah,
personally, I think Apple should be sub 100. I get it. You know what? You know what? He's not alone.
yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's certainly headed there. Uh, you know what? That's an opinion. I get it, and it's noted. Certainly, I'm not going to try to talk you out of it because the trend, I could. There's more reasons than not, although to believe it. But if, like I said, if Apple gets to 140, which is what, another 20% down. No, that's 20% down. 28. No,
Yeah,
it's 40% down. Oy,
yeah.
that's not good.
Well, I
35%.
mean, look, we're in this time window. If the S&Ps are not digging their heels in early October above this line, this
But the same
3,600
scenario,
support.
the same scenario is happening kind of the way it did last week, because the VIX, to a degree of where the market is now, is still subdued. We went up. We took
It's
that
at
move
higher
down last
highs.
week. What's that?
It's at higher highs, though.
The
We
VIX?
treat. I think so. Let's see the VIX chart, Mike.
Well, not yet, but
It's
I
been
think
subdued for, you know,
well, my saying is
years now.
for the way the stocks are acting, I think the VIX should be higher, which leads me to believe that there's still somewhat of complacency. I'm
Yeah,
still on my hands. I'm not fearful, so I can see what. Listen, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be the Philo, the first in and the last out. Certainly not going to be that guy. But you know what I mean. Going to the end of the quarter, which is in Europe is closing, by the way. Keep that in mind. Going to the end of the quarter and the end of the month. I'm not that sharp. I'm not that sharp to predict. I think they are keeping them down for spring back in the next quarter, but I'm not going to put my money where my mouth is right now. I'm not adding to the losers. I'm
maybe you
complacent.
know what we get paid to watch. Let me say this: that if you're sitting at your platform and you hear this thought entering your head, boy, I hope this one works. You need to walk away for a day or two and reassess. Okay. So, the mindset to have in all conditions, Mike, is okay, Mr. Market, I've done my work. These are my contingencies, and I believe in them. I'm going to take this trade. I know where I'm wrong. If I'm right, I know what I'm looking for. Mr. Market, prove me wrong. Not I
Well,
hope this. Not I hope this works.
well, I want to get. Well, I'll continue with that. Listen, I want this higher. I love. My trepidation is putting long-term money to work on where I'm going to have to rotate, because had a little position. Alcoa was up $3 one day reverse. So I don't. When I have to keep looking for the fund in the long-term fund more often than not, then that takes work. But I let the VIX shoot up. Day trading, that's my forte. I mean, I hope it stays this way for a little while. I'm mixed. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want it to settle, but I don't. The VIX over there. I hope the VIX goes to 40. I really do. I mean,
Well, I mean, these are the days that guys like Bish who are scalpers, day trading, like you used to do a lot, Mike. They can trade in any market. There's always a range. But if you're looking for swings, it's definitely become more difficult
it is.
in this environment. So
And the bottom line is,
resolve it already.
if we're going to do that, I'll leave off with this. And as you know, I have my own scanner as a proprietary one, but this is a free scanner stock. If you're not high, all you should be worried about today is stocks with high on relative volume, near the high of the low that have decent range. So if I look at this right now, stocks that have at least 100% of its volume is at 11:30 Eastern, if you will. Oxy, we bought that yesterday, right, guys? We did. Okta Software. So I'm aware that, you know what, that was a
There's a
nice
silver stock popping up there, Coeur d'Alene, CDE.
Planeteer. Job's
Okay.
Planeteer is up today. He was
No,
you were talking about that all day yesterday. Look at that thing.
yeah.
Maybe the market's going up right now. Look at the movers. Oxy, Wix. Oh, that's a Bill. Planeteer DXC. So up high in relative volume, up high, down low on relative volume. And you want to look at breakout on the range of predicated upon your style. New highs and new lows. Here's new highs as of whatever 11:26. Planeteer is making the new highs. Good call, Joba. So that's go with relative volume. These are free. Predicated upon your style. But days like this, and what I want to end with, and when the VIX is this high, these are queries or indicators that you look at to take money out of the market. Long term, it's a different story. You should be writing, should be having things written down long term, and it shouldn't even be that contentious of a situation to put long term money to work until it actually happens. And not timing the market, but let the bigger things, like our guest said, come to you, and let's not look at the indicators. And we don't have to. We post the ranges of the futures. We trade. We like I said, one thing we always are never short of is ideas, even active ideas. So that's the least of our concerns. But longer term, stay in a little bit of cash, and we'll see how the end of the quarter goes. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go back and look at my stocks that have good range with good volume and positive price action relative to the futures. I'm going to go watch your video at 9:30. And I'm going to regroup and just treat the second half of the day like a new day and take some more money out of it. That's
How
all.
about taking Tony for a walk?
Well, you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. It's upstate New York here. It's now going to be October 1st tomorrow. This dog doesn't go out in the cold. It's a big deal. As a matter of fact, I got to bring him to my sister's, who's got an indoor horse freaking facility.
Yeah.
And it's heated, and I let him run around there with the horses.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm serious, man. The dog's buried. You can even see he's buried under all this, under all this right here. But let's leave off at this. What are the wise guys doing? What I want to see is heavy option flow. You know what I mean? SoFi. So when I look at one of my what do you call it, feeds, when I see GME for the last 3 minutes, or STWD lift.
Yeah,
STWD 12 minutes. AMD bearish, big deal. USB, there's nothing. I see people going out. Nobody's going out and stepping into, like, I'm taking a position in Apple calls or Big Bazooka saying December 2022 calls going off at a little bit below at 130, 142 or 145. Everybody's playing these cheap weeklies because they don't want to even go in on equity, because they want to just play a little bit, dabble. You know what I mean? Nobody's really bombing away in equities.
Yeah. They're playing with small chips here. So, I'm looking forward to October, buddy. Enjoy. I'm sure we'll have more active Thursdays next month than we have
this
today.
is our first Thursday. So if this was Tuesday, would have been one of our best shows ever. But for some reason,
we did a great show Tuesday, in my opinion.
It was one of our better
ones. Things that prepped people for Wednesday. They were ready for that pop Wednesday.
Yeah, they were.
So, Mike, love working with you.
You too, Coach.
Have a great weekend.
You too. And thank you for our guests for contributing and tuning in.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, new IB.
So, yeah, no, bravo. Thanks for being with us. Okay, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And welcome and cheers. All right, so good luck, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 Eastern, and Coach will be on at 9:30 Eastern. Have a plan.